Rise and shine, nerds.
You're tuned in to the Back Row Morning Show, proudly a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Mo. We're caffeine fueled and ready to talk your ears off.
This week on the show, we're going to take a look at everything that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Last week was the first real San Diego Comic-Con since the pandemic started way back in 2020. And, a lot was announced, and we are going to kind of take a look at everything that it's on its way in the near future. And we're going to start with movies. So let's dive into this section here. So, first of all,
can you bring it up on my side so I can see as you read
I can do that, yeah. Give me a second here.
That'd be cool.
Here we go. Okay. So first off, let's talk about
Bruno?
Marvel, which most people are aware of, so we won't spend 1,000 years here, but there are a lot of things that they announced. So this was a really, really big panel, really big reveal, because it was several years ago when Kevin Feige got up and basically released Phase 4 and showed all the movies and TV shows that we've had pandemic forward, pretty much. Which, 2020 stopped everything. We didn't have anything in 2020 from Marvel, which was really weird because we were supposed to have like 3 things. So it pushed everything back, and it also mixed up some of the stuff coming out of the pandemic. But this time around, not only did we finish out Phase 4, but he announced Phase 5, which was a big, there's a video going around of like the reactions of when these came up, and, everybody's losing their mind. But we got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantomania, which I saw a bootleg video of the trailer from someone that was in the crowd. And this is a trailer that's not supposed to be released. And the Ant-Man franchise is going from the goofy comic relief movie to this is the big bad, this is the big deal. We're seeing the guy that's going to be the new Thanos in like full display kind of movie. So like this is the big start of this new rolling story for the finale. Secret Invasion is starting in spring, and that's going to be a Disney Plus show with following the storyline of the Skrulls, which we first saw in Captain Marvel, which were the people, the green guys that can change into other people. This following the comics, the comic story was about discovering there's a whole bunch of Skrulls on Earth, and we haven't known about it. And so I'm assuming it's going to be a similar, it's supposed to be kind of like a darker show, going to have more of the vibe of Captain America, Winter Soldier, like conspiracy-esque kind of seriousness to it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that's coming out really soon. It's supposed to be the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Very excited for that. Loki Season 2 is coming out on Disney Plus next year. You watched Loki, didn't you? You haven't watched Loki yet? Oh, it's the best one, Mo.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good. Well, in my opinion, it is, but it's really good.
All right.
Echo is coming out. Don't know a whole lot about that. Marvels is coming out, and that's the sequel to Captain Marvel, and this will feature Ms. Marvel. Sorry, my throat gurgled. Ms. Marvel from the latest Disney Plus show, which I loved. I think it was very cute. And then it'll also feature Monica Rambeau, who was in WandaVision.
Right.
So it's going to be, that'll be a fun show for sure. Blade is coming out, Vampire Hunter. That movie's going to be coming out next year in November. Ironheart, who we're going to see in this phase in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie that comes out this November. We're going to be introduced to Ironheart. I don't really know the whole story of Ironheart other than she becomes the new de facto Iron Man in the comics for a little while. Iron Man character. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which Agatha being the character from WandaVision that we both love. It used to be called House of Harkness, but they changed the title to Coven of Chaos, but still don't really have much details on what it is. We don't know if it's after WandaVision, if Wanda will be back in the show at all, or if this is supposed to be an origin story, but we kind of got her origin story in one of the episodes of WandaVision, so I don't really know if they're going to go for that.
I'm excited.
I have no idea what it's going to be, but I love the actress in that, so it's going to be fun. Captain America New World Order, with first movie with Sam as Captain America, and so that's going to be fun too.
That's right. Yep.
Daredevil Born Again. Now, this is an interesting one because this is the Daredevil from the previous Netflix show, which we didn't really know if it was going to be canon in MCU or not. But apparently it is. Of course, he cameoed as his lawyer self in the latest Spider-Man movie, but he's going to get his own Disney Plus series, and it's going to be the longest one yet. It's going to be 18 episodes, pretty much a full season of a show. So I'm excited for that too. And then Thunderbolts is coming out to round out Phase 5, and Thunderbolts is like the Dark Avengers, essentially. You did see Falcon and Winter Soldier, correct?
Some
of it? Okay, you remember like the new Captain America guy?
Yes.
He should be one of the key folks in there. Pretty much anybody that Elaine from Seinfeld recruited is supposed to be in this movie.
Nice.
And then Feige went on to announce parts of Phase 6. So he laid out a whole calendar on the screen, and there were like 8 spots that they did not fill here that I believe they're supposed to fill at D23 in September, Disney's big expo that they do. But he did announce it'll kick off with the Fantastic Four movie, which we've all been waiting for, and he has clarified it's not an origin story because we've already had 2 of those. This will be similar to some of the Spider-Man and the fact that they're just going to pick up with him already being heroes kind of thing. And then he showed us the 2 big movies that are going to wrap it up. Similar to how Infinity War happened, and then there were 2 projects in between, and then it was Endgame. We're going to have Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, which Kang is the new big bad that we were talking about. That was in Loki, and it was Quantumania. And then 2 more projects that we don't know what they are. And then it'll end with Avengers Secret Wars, which is a big multiverse spanning comic book event in the Marvel history. Actually, I think there was 2 of them. But giant project, which could see the return of Tony Stark's Iron Man, the original Captain America from different multiverses for these one-off spots. Like it could be a really, we could see the 2 Spider-Men from the 2 previous Spider-Men again. Like this could be a really, really big deal if they make it a big deal. Could be bigger than Endgame, and Endgame was huge. So I hope they pull it off.
My head is kind of hurting.
And there's still 8 movies we don't know. 8 movies and projects that we don't know. All right, so that was a lot already. But let's see what else we got movie-wise. We've got most of these things were Marvel. I mean, most of the movie things were Marvel.
Before you go any further, though, Ori's got a really good question over in the chat.
Could this introduce X-Men as well? So I don't know if this is going to introduce X-Men or if X-Men is going to be one of those 8 projects in Phase 6. I feel like it is. I feel like we've already seen rumors of a show or a movie called The Mutants, which is supposed to be the start of this, and that might be one of the projects that they announced at D23 officially. I'm hoping we see X-Men before Secret Wars, because I really don't want to wait until 2025, 2026 to see the X-Men in action. We've been teased a lot, enough with all the different X-Men things since WandaVision, which, I mean, we've been teased so much with Quicksilver, but not really. I mean, it was so sad. And so I hope they don't wait all the way to Secret Wars, but they might. I don't know. They might. I don't know. I'm trusting Kevin Feige has a plan. But
it's a good way to keep long-term fans.
Yeah, I mean,
hanging around.
But I mean, at the same time, it's a good way to tick long-term fans off too. If we're just gonna keep kicking the can down the road.
Enough for us to quit?
I don't know.
No. What else are we gonna do?
So the other big trailer that actually had me super excited, and I'm not really into this genre all that much at all, is the Dungeons and Dragons trailer. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, starring Chris Pine. Looks so dang good. So dang good.
I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
A lot about it.
Yeah. I want to see this movie so bad, and I have never played Dungeons and Dragons. I barely care about it. I kind of want to play a game, but not so much that I'm really trying all that hard.
That's the thing. Like, I feel exactly the same. I kind of want to play a game because just the whole aspect
just to experience
of
it. Yeah.
But it's also it sounds really amazing and super cool, but also super intimidating.
Super intimidating, very scary.
Yeah.
We got a couple DC movies as well. We had the new Black Adam trailer, which I'm excited about. The big one, though, was Shazam's sequel, Fury of the Gods. That trailer was fantastic. That movie was it was so long ago, though. That movie happened so long ago. The sequel's coming very late, I feel like. But I'm excited that we're going to have it. John Wick 4 had a preview. Have you seen the John Wick movies?
Yeah.
Do you like the John Wick movies? You don't like them? Oh, that's not my genre of movie at all, but I love those movies. So I'm super stoked for 4. Teen Wolf, the movie. That's your thing. It didn't really grab me one way or the other.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was Marvel. Marvel took the lead the entire time.
Yeah.
This year, we're going to have, like I said, a Wakanda Forever is coming out. And then we also have the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus, which
I'm pretty excited about that.
I mean, I know there've been some criticism of the CGI, and I'm hoping they'll fix that. I don't know. Disney Plus series kind of rush with the CGI stuff. So sometimes it doesn't look all that great. I'm looking at you, Luke, in Mando season 2.
I'm just excited to be able to finally relate to a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're totally She-Hulk.
I know. About it.
Oh, man. And we're going to look at the TV shows that were announced. Now, we kind of talked about a few of the Disney Plus Marvel things in the previous discussion. But let's look at some of the other stuff that's going to be coming out. I did see the DC Sandman trailer. Is that one of the trailers you watched? It's probably good.
That I didn't watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fan of the Sandman comic, and it seems from people who know more than me that this might look pretty true to the Sandman comic, but it just is not my cup of tea. It looks rough. It looks like it'll be too intense to watch, tiring to watch. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
You know those shows that are it's just a lot. It's just too much. Interview with a Vampire is getting rebooted, I guess.
Well, it's becoming a television show,
right?
Instead of a movie.
As a television show,
yeah.
Which another one of those things is like, okay.
I feel like it's reaching at this point. It wasn't that great of a movie.
Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, also hasn't really been getting all the best press because they seem to be going in weird directions and doing some things that don't seem to line up all that well with the original Lord of the Rings stories. Yeah. So I don't know about that either. None of those is getting me excited. House of the Dragons. I mean, it feels like we're in a loop.
Yeah.
Of shows.
Uh-huh. We've
New Walking Dead TV miniseries.
Yeah. We've apparently reached the end of our creativity, and so we're having to go back and just rebirth things at this point.
Tales of the Walking Dead, the final season of The Walking Dead, Star Trek Picard.
Yeah, see, there's nothing new.
Now, Star Trek Picard is pretty exciting because this is the final season of the show, of the experiment that they've been doing, which I think has been mostly well received. I've enjoyed the first 2 seasons, but this one will reunite pretty much the whole remaining Next Generation cast that hasn't already been on the show. So we've had Data. Data was a key factor in the first season. And then we had Brent Spiner playing the guy that created Data in both the first and second seasons. I don't think he's back for the third. We had Wesley make a cool appearance in season 2. And so now everybody else that's left is going to be in this last season. And they had a nice trailer with all of them kind of making their reveal, and one of the quotes they'll say in the show over it. And I mean, it's a good nostalgia piece, and I hope they do justice for the final season of this.
I need to go watch it.
Yeah. And then Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is the best Star Trek show on TV right now, in my opinion. And Star Trek Lower Decks, which is the animated cartoon Star Trek that's like a comedy, fan service, poking fun at the whole series kind of show, which I also love, are somehow going to have a crossover episode. I don't know if it's going to be all animated. I don't know if they have cast characters that look like the animated characters that'll be on a real show. Both? I don't know.
It'll be like Chip and Dale.
But I'm interested. I'm interested in how this will happen.
Interesting.
Let's see here. Some of these I'm just not even going to talk about. Chucky, I guess, is already a TV show, which I didn't know, and they're getting a season 2. Okay, the Orville. Hulu's The Orville. Now, this wasn't an announcement of a new season. New season's still like happening, unfolding right now. Have you ever seen The Orville yet? Mm-mm. So The Orville is, at first, when it was first announced, it sounded like this was just going to be a total riff on Star Trek. It's just going to be like poking fun at everything about science fiction and all that. And in a way, it kind of does that, but also in a way that's super endearing. This comes from Seth MacFarlane. It comes from the Family Guy guy. Okay? Mm-hmm. And he's the captain. But this show is so much more Star Trek than most of the new Star Trek shows have been. That people keep clamoring for, like, just make Seth MacFarlane direct all the new Star Treks. It's such a good show. There is, there are moments of, adult humor and crude, crass kind of stuff, just like you would expect from Seth MacFarlane. But the heart of the show is really there. And so they had 2 seasons on TV, got canceled. Hulu brought it back for a 3rd season. It's been a few years, too. I think it was long before the pandemic when it got canceled. So they brought most of the people back, and this is the 3rd season. But the big announcement is that it's all moving to Disney Plus. And so it's going to be on Disney Plus now. And Hulu, I think, which is weird. But that'll put it before a lot more people's eyes, moving into Disney Plus. Mm. So I'm excited for that. National Treasure Edge of History. This I'm also excited for.
I mean,
did you not like the National Treasure movies?
No, I did but at the same time, it's like, end a good thing.
Well, they didn't end it, but they didn't end it though. Like, they left that last cliffhanger of page 47 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and that was how many years ago?
Gosh darn it, if they don't wrap that up. I just had the realization that this might not even be about that. And I'm going to be really mad if it's not about page 47.
It's not. It's not.
I don't think Nick Cage is going to be in it, and that's the only thing that really, really brings it down for me. Yeah. They're still trying, I think, to get him at least to come in the last couple episodes or something. That's not done. So it's the sidekick. I don't remember his name now. The sidekick is essentially the main character. But gosh darn it, if it's not page 47, now I'm really going to be mad. I'm really going to be so mad. You've never seen the National Treasure movies, Oriole. Oh my gosh, they're so good. They're so good. But yeah, so that's TV. There's a few other shows that I just do not care about. Yeah. But that was most of it. Oh, man. We're going to talk about animation, and we're also going to talk about comics. So both animated TV series or movies and comic books. First up, we kind of talked about Star Trek Lower Decks a little bit in the last segment, but they're getting a whole new season 3. They have a trailer that sets it all up. They're in a really odd place in this season because it kind of left them without a captain last season. Star Trek Lower Decks season 3 kind of sets up like they're gonna steal the ship and be like a rogue pirate. Better
than steal the ship than something else.
So anyway, it looks really, really fun. Like that whole series is it's a chuckle. It's a chuckle. It's a good time. It's a good time. Avatar, which I guess this is technically animation. I was about to say, why is this in here? But I guess it is technically animation. Avatar is finally coming out with a sequel. I just posted an SNL skit from 2017 about it's one of my favorite SNL bits, but it's Ryan Gosling playing this character who it's one of their pre-produced ones that looks like movies, not live. A character who is just haunted by the fact that the Avatar logo is just the papyrus font, one of the most hated fonts in history, next to Comic Sans. And it's like he's in therapy, and the lady's like, Avatar, like the movie from 9 years ago, and this was posted in 2017. And he goes, yeah. He goes, and so now you're worried about the sequels? He goes, they're making more. And I'm like, wow, this was 2017. And I remember hearing there were going to be so many sequels forever, and it's finally happening here in 2022. It's finally happening. And well, I guess it'll be 2023 when we get it, but we're finally going to get an Avatar sequel.
No, 2017 really doesn't feel like that long ago.
But it was 5 years ago already. Like it's going to be 14, 15 years in between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2. We're getting close to a full-grown adult in between those.
I'm not an Avatar fan anyway.
I didn't super care for the movie, but it was neat because it was here's how old it is. That was the first big new 3D, real 3D movie that came out when we all had these new 3D glasses that weren't the red and blue ones.
Yep.
And we went through that whole trend. And now that trend is dead.
That's why they waited so long. That's why they waited so long.
And I wonder, are these movies going to be in that Real D anymore?
Yeah.
But anyway, Spider-Man Freshman Year was showcased, which is an animated Spider-Man movie that, when initially announced, it was supposed to be, it was presented like this was going to be the, it was going to be the origin story that we didn't get with this version of MCU Spider-Man. Like we were going to see how he became Spider-Man and all this. But now it seems like it's going to be adjacent to the MCU, like a multiverse story, because it's got Norman Osborn in it, and it's got Doc Ock in it, and it's got Daredevil in it, who he has not met yet. Mm-hmm. And those other two people don't exist in this universe because they were from the other. There's no Norman Osborn here. There's no Oscorp in this MCU. And so it doesn't look like it's going to be that at all. And so it's got me thinking, why do we need this then? It's
they just messed it up.
Just a random Spider-Man cartoon.
They just messed it up.
We don't need that. So I'm upset about that.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 is coming back. Now this one looks like it's going to be really good. Rounding out the original X-Men cartoon that everybody loved. Disney Plus also fixed the order of it. The last season got aired out of order. And then it's always been presented on DVD in the order that it aired. And then it got on Disney Plus in the order that it aired. But the story doesn't make any sense in the last few episodes. Okay. And so they finally fixed that. Marvel's What If Season 2 is coming out, which I believe is also supposed to feature the episode that did not make it into Season 1, featuring Gamora and Iron Man, which we saw in the finale as a part of the big thing, but we never saw their episode. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see their episode. If not, that'll be sad. I Am Groot's little cute mini adventures is going to be coming out. You saw a little preview for that. It looks like it's just for kids. I mean, it doesn't look great to me, but I think my kids will love it.
I'm kind of excited about it.
Teen Titans Go is going to have Zack Snyder on as a guest star.
I'm really offended right now. I just want you to know that. I don't appreciate you shaming me.
Dragon Ball Super movie is coming. I'm not a big into Dragon Ball, but I know there's a lot of people that are. So be happy. Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai. Why do we need more?
Say it?
I don't know. Why do we need more Gremlins?
I think it's way.
Mogwai, maybe. I don't know. We don't need it. This doesn't need to be a thing.
I don't remember.
Let's move on to comics. Not a whole lot of news in the comics sector, which is sad because it's San Diego Comic Con. But
it's so much more than comics, Matt.
But DC Comics is currently starting a thing called Dark Crisis. And it's got like this dark multiverse around it. And of course, it was announced that, yes, this is going to be another Crisis on Infinite Earths thing that they've been doing since the 80s. Almost every big event, big universe crossing DC event turns out to be a crisis of some kind among those crisis storylines. There's only a handful that I can remember that weren't. One of them was Blackest Night, which is one of my favorites, the Green Lantern centered one. But like, I don't know, Convergence was kind of crisis related. Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths, 0 Hour Crisis in Time, Heroes in Crisis, Identity Crisis. Dark Crisis, or Dark Metal Crisis, or whatever it was. This is Dark Crisis. They're all crises. We were supposed to be done with the crises.
It's crises, not crises.
Crises, and we're still back to another one. I don't know. I haven't really liked any of them since Final Crisis, so we'll see.
Only people who live in Illinois have crises.
But it does seem like the only reason they do these anymore is to draw fans back in, because they are fun. These events are fun, but it seems like DC is just struggling for please read us. Our movie division is going down the drain. Please read the comics. Let's
do what you got to do.
Power Rangers are getting Power Rangers comic books have been killing it since they started, and they had a cool team up with the Ninja Turtles in the comics, and they're going to have another one of those, so that's exciting. And then one of the biggest comic series for the last year was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the last
Turtle and a half shell,
the last Ronin. And apparently that is going to continue. That was so popular, they're going to keep it going with a new comic book series. A lot of people are super excited about that. So, all that being said, Brother Mod says Identity Crisis was super good. That was the one that Brad Meltzler wrote, and that one is really good because that's like a crime drama with superheroes. Like, it was really good, like a murder mystery crime drama. I liked it a lot. And then later on, Booster Gold traveled back in time and actually fixed like a continuity error in the thing by accidentally bumping a telephone or something like that, making a noise. Like, it's good. It's good. I liked it a lot. But those were the big things. Very exciting. A lot of stuff announced. It was just really cool. I mean, I wasn't even there, but it was really cool to see all the photos, all the videos, all the snuck videos that weren't supposed to be videoed. All of that stuff from a proper San Diego Comic-Con again. This is one of those few things that have happened since the pandemic started dying down, that makes me feel like, okay, we're back to normal. You know, it's like, okay, the world is at peace again.
Can I admit something?
You can admit something.
Since the pandemic, whenever I hear of a Comic-Con, regardless of where, I immediately think of Gypsy Blanchard.
I mean, what?
Do you not know who Gypsy is?
I don't think so. Sorry.
So,
explain.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard was a girl who her mom had Munchausen's disease. And so her mom raised her to believe that she was deathly sick, that she couldn't walk, that she had to eat through a feeding tube. Essentially, it was a form of abuse. And when Gypsy Rose became an adult, she ended up ending her mother's life and is currently serving time in jail for that. But her mom used to take her to Comic-Cons all the time. She would dress her up in whatever superhero or princess or anyway. So just watching the documentaries, the many documentaries that have been put out over the pandemic, that's what I think of now. Sorry.
That went so many places.
I know.
That I did not expect.
You should really look into it. It's actually a very interesting story. And she's getting out in a year. And she just got married. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't take it.
I mean...
So I was watching a comedian, because we're talking about end of the pandemic kind of stuff. I was watching a comedian talking about Joe Biden getting COVID a couple weeks ago. And he goes, not happy that he got it, and hope he recovers just fine. And he said, but this is kind of COVID's last shot, because if you don't take down Joe Biden, nobody should be afraid of you anymore. Like, you're done. COVID's done at that point. And Joe Biden's fine, so I think we're done. I think we can take off the masks on the airplanes. I think we're good. Just wrap it up. Every little last bit of the COVID crap that's hanging in there, let's just knock it out. We're done.
That's fair. That's fair.
Speaking of that, my mom has been terrified of catching it the whole time, and she's never caught it. And she keeps finding out that she's been like in a car with somebody who had COVID. This is like the third time it's happened. Like I was driving around with her all day, and she went to the doctor the next day and found out she had COVID. Am I going to get COVID? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. You should probably stay home for a few days, see if you have any symptoms. But apparently there is one blood type that rarely gets it.
They've been saying this from the beginning.
Right. And apparently the diabetes drug metformin also helps people not catch it. And so she's got that blood type, and she takes metformin. And I think she just has the perfect combination of that's making her immune. Because I know for a fact she's been exposed a dozen times or more over the past 3 years and just keeps escaping, keeps not catching it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well.
Anyway, that wraps up our discussion on Comic-Con.